Welcome back to In Frame Brooklyn. Charlie from Real Brooklyn Films here, and I know it's been a few weeks since our last video. Thank you for the views. We did really good, and our subscriptions are growing, which is great. It's amazing what can happen in 3 weeks when you're making documentary films. Projects can change, gear can change, whole situations can change, and that is exactly what's happened in the last 3 weeks. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're also going to be talking about gear and used gear for your first documentary. We're going to get into it right after this. So like I said, it's amazing how things can change in a few weeks. I had spoken about a project that I really couldn't talk about, but how it was sort of close to getting made and funded, and the gear we're going to get from this budget that people are going to pay for. Well, you know what? That has gone into the crapper. As things happen, particularly on a documentary film where the subject matter is really, really intense, and people get excited about a project and then they realize their participation might not be exactly what they want, and they decide they don't want to be involved anymore. And that's what happened on this project that I can't talk about. But what did happen is my sort of hostile New York furniture thing documentary, which was going nowhere, which was literally about to die, shifted gears, and I turned this into a documentary about New York City's homeless situation and focusing on the children. And all of a sudden, people are talking to me. I've got amazing stuff going on within that story, within the people involved in the crisis. And now it's actually happening. I've got amazing people I'm talking to. So we're going to start production in the next couple of weeks. I've got interviews set up. So we went from one thing that didn't happen, that we thought was going to happen, to something that we didn't think was going to happen. And what, it's amazing. We talk about projects having legs and not having legs. Well, the first idea didn't have legs, but once I shifted it and I really found what I was really trying to say, I was kind of using the hostile architecture as a way into the homeless crisis, but really, I didn't need that. What I needed was focusing on the families and the children, and once I did that, we were off to the races. So things are good. However, what that means is that the money I thought I was going to get to make the other documentary evaporated. So now, this documentary, which by the way is called Suffer Little Children, and we actually have a Seed and Spark campaign happening right now, and I'll link that at the end. There is no money. So I am using my own gear that I've been using forever, but what I did do is I upgraded it, and in a number of ways. I did a few things. I spent some money to up the quality of the project. And one of the things I did is I got myself a much better lens. I got myself a Sigma art lens 20-70, and that is 24-70, and that really upped the quality of the camera. Also, you should really upgrade the firmware on your camera. I didn't realize that, and for many years I've been running the same version 3 firmware on my R6 without really realizing that there was so much more it could do. So I upgraded it, believe it or not, to version 9, and along with that came cool stuff like it doesn't overheat. It has C-Log 2 and C-Log 3, which means that my shooting codec is going to be much better, and so that's going to up the quality of the camera also. And the other thing I did was I invested in this thing called Cineback, and there's a guy on YouTube, and his handle is DSLR Shooter, and his name is Caleb Pike, and he's a genius. And he came up with a thing that really turns your mirrorless into a cinema camera. And you can see in the pictures here that it just totally revamps the camera, and it has built-in D-taps. The best thing about it, amongst the fact that you can attach all kinds of stuff to it, as you can see in the pictures, it has an on and off switch, which means that you turn it off and the battery does not drain. On normal like V-mount plates and stuff, as long as the battery is attached to the camera, it will drain. So like, you know, you're at 100%, you pick up the camera, it's at 86. Caleb put an on and off switch in this thing, and it's amazing. I highly, highly recommend it. It's $300 and change, and worth every penny. So what I had to do was I had to take what I had and upgrade it, and it's all, except for the Cineback, everything is used. The lens that the Sigma lens I got was used, and you just, you know, used gear is great. So, and we're going to talk about that when we talk about the gear you should be getting for your documentary. So, with that in mind, this new documentary is going full force, and I'm going to use the gear I have. And that's what you do when you make a documentary. You don't wait for the good gear to come along. You just get your gear, you go out, and you shoot. A lot of people, you know, will tell you that. There's an amazing guy. His name is Austin Meyer. He's got a great channel. You should check him out. He just did a video about, you know, just getting out there, you know, shooting your movie. What are you waiting for? There is no reason to wait. That's my advice as well. So that's kind of what's been happening now. The other thing is there's a music stream platform called MusicBed, and at the moment they are having a contest. It's a 10-minute short, and it's like lots of money you can win for submitting your movie. You can do a narrative, you can do a commercial, you can do a documentary, and you can just make a movie. And so I decided that I would do that also. And I spent this past weekend shooting my dad walking around Brooklyn, talking about what it was like growing up in Brooklyn in the 50s. And that's going to be my little short movie that I'm going to submit to MusicBed. You should do the same. Get out there, shoot a movie, don't sit around. Take whatever camera you have, your iPhone, your mom's video camera, whatever it is. Go out, shoot a 10-minute movie, and submit it to MusicBed. All you got to do is put 10 seconds of one of their songs into the movie, and you're golden. The music is good, actually. I pulled some good stuff from mine. I highly suggest that you go ahead and do that. I know I'm all over the place today. But, yeah, MusicBed, short film. I'm working on a new one. And the next thing we're going to talk about is used gear. And I have a whole list of what I got when I first got this package, and how you can do this for under $3,000, part of your $5,000 production budget. And we're going to get into it right after this. Let's talk about gear. And if you're watching this, I'm sure you watch other videos, and everybody on YouTube, all the filmmakers are like, if you don't have this piece of equipment, you can't be a documentary filmmaker. If you don't have this, it won't go on Netflix. Blah, 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 blah. This is your first documentary. It's not going to be on Netflix. But gear does matter in that you want to make the best film that you can. And from where I'm sitting, at this point, used gear is amazing. And half the price of what anything new is, or what it was when it was new. So my first thing, and if you've been following along chapter 5, you know what I'm talking about in my book, obviously, a camera. And you can get my R6 that I got, that I've been shooting with, that I'm still shooting with, for about $1,300. And from Adorama or from B&H, literally half the price of what it used to be. I paid $3,500 for the camera, and then another, I think, $80 for the cage. And now you can get that camera for $1,600, for $1,300, the cage for $99, and basically you've got an amazing camera. That's for the body. Now, the kit lens that came with it when I bought it, which is like a $300, $400 lens at this point, you can get used for $269. And that's a 24-105 f4. And I shot 3 documentaries with that lens. So I highly recommend it. It's a workhorse lens. It shoots great in low light, and the R6 really shoots great in low light. You pair that lens with the camera and the small rig cage, and you're good to go. The next thing that I suggest, and I've got rigged down on mine, is the Adamus Ninja 5. And there's two reasons to attach the Ninja 5 to the R6. One of them is less important these days. The other one is really important. So when I got it, the R6 did tend to overheat after a time. So by when you're recording. So by putting the Ninja 5 on the rig and recording to the SSD card that's in the Ninja 5, you eliminate all overheating. You can shoot for hours and hours and hours. And also, the size of these cards, like I have a 500 gigabyte card, but you can get it. Terabyte card, 2 terabyte cards. And they used to be very expensive. Like, I think that the Angelberg card, when I bought it, was $600. And the Ninja 5 was $600. So it was quite an expensive investment. Now, you can get a used Ninja 5 for $400. You can get a used, actually not used, used Angelbird 1 terabyte card for $269. And that, you can shoot all day on that. And so that solves the one problem. The other problem is that still the R6 shuts down after a half an hour of recording. It's in those cameras. They haven't fixed that yet. But when you're shooting on the Ninja 5, you don't have that problem. So basically, you're using the amazing technology of the R6, the autofocus, all of, you know, everything that it comes with, but you're recording to the Ninja 5. And to me, that's the best of both worlds. So you attach the Ninja 5 to the cage, you get yourself a top handle from Small Rig for about $20, and now you have a handheld rig that you can shoot movies on. The next thing you want to get is a good microphone. Rode makes amazing shotgun mics, and they make this tiny little cute shotgun mic for about $30, and it's amazing. I own this one. It's one of the first ones I bought. And on the new Black Mamba cage for the R6 from Small Rig, there's an actual cold shoe mounted into the camera, so you can just put it right on there. You don't need an extension arm or a magic arm or anything. It goes right on the cage. And then you get yourself a little Small Rig mount for the Ninja 5 that goes onto the top handle, as you can see, and you're good to go. Get yourself a pair of earbuds that you can plug in, and there's your camera. Used, and I got to tell you, with all the pieces, and I'll link them actually on at the bottom of this. I found all of them. The total amount was about $2,900 total for this used rig that you can go out and shoot movies on. There's no reason to buy anything new. Adorama has used stuff. B&H has used stuff. eBay has used stuff, and I got my lens on eBay, and it was pristine. It's amazing, and I paid $400 for what amounted to like a $1,200 lens. So, you know, there's no reason to buy new, and which means that there's no reason not to go out and shoot your movie. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on gear, but I got inspired getting some used stuff for my rig that I'm going to be shooting this documentary on. So that's it. I'm going to link all these things at the bottom of the video, and that is going to be it. I never say it, but if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps me. And so the new film is called Suffer Little Children. Here's a link to it on my website. We are doing a Seed and Spark campaign for this. It's a small one. We're trying to raise $5,000 to upgrade some of our gear. And here's the link for that. And if you have any questions, you can email me or you make comments on the bottom. Read the book, Documentary 101, right here. Don't forget our budget, right here. And as always, keep shooting.